Unfortunately, most people that try brand scaling quit because they can't sign their first good client. So in this video, I'm going to give you guys the exact lead gen method that I personally use, as well as all of my mentees, to generate $2,000 per month per client. You simply multiply this 5 times in a row, and now you're making $10,000 per month. So I have this entire 6-page document that I'm going to give you guys for 100% free. So stick around and let's jump straight to this. What is freelance brand scaling? Freelance brand scaling is really simple. All you do is you basically just help businesses get more clients. They make more money, you get paid every single month. And the flow is really simple. The business needs more jobs. They need more leads. How do you get them more business, more work, more jobs, more leads? You simply just help them run ads, specifically meta ads. They get booked and then you get paid. It's really simple. So what is lead gen? Lead gen equals lead generation, which means creating new customers for businesses. So for example, let's say a car detailing shop and they have empty slots. You basically just have to run Facebook or Instagram ads. People fill out an instant form, you shop, book them in, and you're good to go. It's very simple, and you're basically just helping them grow on the back end stuff. Some really simple niches to start to get into this is car detailing, window cleaning, pressure washing, landscaping, HVAC, roofing, moving services, real estate agents, and even med spas. If you're a complete beginner and you have zero prior experience, zero case studies, zero results, this is perfect for you. You can get started with some of these niches right here because these are pretty low mid-ticket niches. So the first step is going to be prospecting, trying to find your first prospect so that way you can outreach to them, so that way you can actually sign them to to your client base, right? So the first step that I like to do is go into a platform. You can either use Yelp, Google Maps, Bing Maps. You can even use Apollo.io to scrape leads. That is a paid method. So I would just literally keep it very simple. Go on Yelp or go on Google and simply just look up, the specific niche. So car detailing, pet grooming, window cleaning, whatever it is, and then type in near me. So let's say, for example, I'm in Google and I write car detailing near Dallas, Texas. And as you guys can see here, I have all of these Google business profiles and I can just click on one of them. I can check out their website, see if they have a good website. As you guys can see here, this is actually a pretty decent website. And as you guys can see here, I can also call them. If I scroll down a little bit more, you guys can see that there's actually a lot more businesses that I can outreach with. You can also click on the Yelp link right here, so that way you get, just more businesses to dial. And as you guys can see here, we have a bunch. We have this one right here, and we can just click on it. And then you guys are going to see here that we can basically just look them up and just contact them and give them a call, right? Their phone number is right here. You book it in, call them, pitch to them, right? It's very simple. So how do you actually do this? You guys need to set up a Google Sheet, all right? So it's very simple. Name, phone number, email, their website, any notes as well, and if you need to follow up with them, okay? So what does that actually look like? This is an example that I literally just made in like 20 seconds. So you basically make columns right here: name, phone number, email, website, notes. You put the name of the business, the phone number, the email, the website, and then also any type of notes when you're prospecting them and outreaching to them. So for example, when you are outreaching to these people, you need to be cold calling, right? That's just how lead generation works. The thing with lead gen compared to like e-com, like clothing brands, the old way of freelance brand scaling is that, with that kind of niche, you need to be targeting clothing brands, and specifically these clothing brands really only operate via Instagram, right? With lead generation, these local service-based businesses, these guys are operating through phone numbers, right? That's like the main way to contact and to reach them, as well as like their email and their website. But really, like 9 out of 10 times it's going to be their phone number. So you need to be cold calling. All right. So this is going to be a pretty heavy sales. This is probably going to be the heaviest part about this entire video, is just the sales aspect of this, because I know that's what you guys struggle a lot with. And especially if you're a beginner that's just getting into lead generation, you need to know how to properly cold call and how to actually close your prospects inside of your sales meetings. Most beginners actually avoid cold calling. They try it out, they get pretty bad results, or they just, they're scared and they just completely quit, and then they're not making any money and they're struggling and just wondering, does freelance brand scaling even work? Whatever it is. Yes, it does work. And yes, you need to pick up the phone and start dialing. All right. So cold calling equals the key to the highest possible conversion. Okay. So there's no perfect script. Okay. There's no perfect script. I can give you guys framework, but you guys need to put in the reps and figure out what works best for your niche and for your prospects, because every single prospect that you outreach to is going to have their own certain problems. So I have a quick script right here that you guys can literally just start with, and it's worked for me. I made a a complete video on my YouTube channel that you guys can watch where I literally cold call businesses live. And this is one that I actually use. And I say, hey, am I speaking with the owner, right? I'm going straight to the decision maker. When you're cold calling these business owners, you might get a receptionist. And in the sales world, we call this a gatekeeper, right? So how do you get over the gatekeeper and how do you get to the decision maker, AKA most likely the business owner? You just need to follow up and just ask them questions like, hey, when is the owner of the shop, of the business, whenever, when are they going to be back inside the store, or when are they going to be back in the shop, or when are they going to be available, right? Can you give them like a phone number, an email, some type of point of contact that you can reference with to follow up with them in the future, right? But let's just pretend that this is the owner and this is a decision maker and you got lucky. You can be like, awesome, look, I'll be straight with you. This is a cold call. I help businesses like yours get more paying customers with ads. If you're not interested, no problem. But if you give me just 20 seconds, I'll help you decide, right? You kind of have a pattern interrupt by asking permission based and you're giving just 20 seconds. People want to hear you out. There's a ton of different ways that you can open with. I know some people, they like to just jump straight to it. Some people like to say like, hey, look, I got something that I want to share with you. If it's not in your wheelhouse, just feel free to hang up right now. If not, I'll continue going. Whatever it is, like you just need to get permission to just say what you need to say, right? After you've done this and they say yes, there's 3 things that I want you guys to do with the cold call, right? Compliment their business, all right? Make them feel good, make them smile, because what this is going to do is it's going to drop like their guard, right? So the second part is also point out the gap, aka, for example, if they're not running any ads, then they're obviously not making any additional revenue that they could possibly be making, right? So they're losing money. And then you also want to bridge to that solution, right? So if they do run ads, now they're getting more jobs, aka they're making more money, right? So you help them identify a problem, a bottleneck inside of their business, and you provide to them the solution, which is running Facebook ads, generating these businesses more leads. So foundations, you need to just dial, okay? The more calls you make simply means the more money you're able to generate, right? I see a lot of people who start cold calling and they literally cold call like 5 times a day, and that's literally it. You need to be dialing like 25, like maybe even 50, like 50 dials a day, okay? Just start off with 50 dials a day, get the volume, get the reps in, because as a beginner, someone with no experience cold calling, the best tip that I could give to you guys is to just go out there. Literally, just pick up your phone, put a entire lead list that you have here and just start dialing, bro, and just start calling them and just start going after it. Because like by watching videos like this and not actually doing the thing, like not actually applying what I'm telling you to do, like you're not going to get anywhere. You know what I mean? So you need to start dialing and you need to start picking up the phone, right? So cold calling, it's literally a CEO skill, right? It's like it's basically just compounding like the gym, right? The more dials you make, the better you're going to get at it, okay? And really every single no is statistically gonna pay you, right? Now that might sound kind of outlandish. You might be like, Elmer, what do you mean by that? It might take you guys to go through 100 no's to get your first yes, all right? It might take you guys maybe even 200, 300 no's to get your first yes. Now, statistically, the more you outreach, the more you cold call, you'll be booking sales meetings and you'll be closing these people in these sales meetings. And once you've done this for a prolonged amount of time, you're going to be able to just distinguish and statistically have evidence, okay? Have evidence that if you make a certain amount of phone calls in a week, in a day, whatever it is, you're guaranteed to get a client, right? So this is why it's really important that you guys have this volume, okay? You need to be dialing so that way you can know, okay, I need to dial 150 times in order to get one person to say yes to me and I make $1,000. You know what I mean? Like you need to just be able to have that volume. Okay. And yeah, so the mindset aspect of cold calling, ego is going to be your biggest enemy. So accept feedback from those, for example, for me and my students and what we do in my community where I teach people one-to-one. If you're interested in that, go down to the description. It's the first link. You guys can fill out an application form. My team will personally reach out to you guys and we guys can get you guys in. But what we do is we kind of just do role playing with cold calling. You guys can do this with your friends. You guys can do this even with like ChatGPT. Record yourself, listen to the way you speak. And yeah, just take the biggest, you need to have constructive feedback, right? But like I said, ego is going to be your biggest enemy. Disconnect yourself from the sales process, right? Don't take everything to heart. If someone that you're calling like cusses you out or they just hang up the phone on you or whatever it is, good, let them, because they're probably not the person that you would even want to work with, right? Think about it like this. When you're cold calling, like think about it like Minecraft, like you're strip mining, right? And you're digging through all the cobblestone, you're going through all the crappy ores like copper and stuff and like coal, and you're going and going until you find diamonds. You know what I mean? So like think of it like that, all right? And yeah, you want to just pitch for yourself as well, right? So every single time you're cold calling, you need to sell yourself, because if you sell yourself, your product or service that you're selling will sell itself. Does that make sense? Like for example, if I'm calling somebody and I have a good tone, I speak clearly, I'm not stuttering or anything, maybe I incorporate some human responses, human behaviors, like maybe throw in a little bit of ums and, just, I pace myself in the way I speak and the way I say things, people are going to trust me, people are going to believe me, and then the product that I'm selling is going to sound like amazing to their ears, right? So very, really, really important, okay? Also, don't be freestyling like crazy, especially when you are cold calling. Cold calling should not take you that much time per cold call. I would say like you shouldn't be spending more than 10 minutes on a cold call, because the whole point of a cold call is to basically just make you book in a sales meeting, an actual meeting, a presentation call that's pretty long. I would say around like half an hour to maybe an hour. Of where you're basically just pitching, right, to the prospect, to the business owner about the service that you're selling to them, which is going to be the paid advertisements, right? The marketing, digital marketing, right? So don't freestyle like crazy. Literally, you can just go to ChatGPT and just ask it, hey, give me a framework that I can follow along with to cold call. And that's it, right? Keep it very, very simple. Don't read it word for word, bar for bar. If you have no experience, then, I guess you can, but really what you want to do is you just want to do it so many times that it just becomes like really natural into your brain. Now with execution, there's a bunch of things here that I have that you guys can just look over, read. If you're taking notes, write these down. But one of the main things here is really just booking first and then qualifying later. All right. A lot of you guys are spending, like I said earlier, you guys are spending way too much time on the cold call. The main reason of the cold call is to spark curiosity to the person that you're contacting to get into a longer meeting, right? Whether that's a Zoom meeting, a Google meeting, whatever it is, right? So that's your main thing, is to basically just spark curiosity into their ears, and that way you can book them into a sales meeting, okay? Now, you don't want to be completely lost in who you're dialing, right? Track everything, every single dial, every single conversation, every single meeting that you book, you close, whatever it is, you need to do that. And that's why I gave you guys that spreadsheet example, because you need to track your name, email, phone number, website, notes for all of the leads, all the businesses that you're contacting. And for example, if you cold call them and they don't pick up the phone, write in voicemail on the date and the time that you called them, and then just be like, I'm going to follow up with them in like 48 hours or whatever. And then you consistently do that, and you'll be surprised on how often you actually close people like that. Because me personally, within my agency, me cold calling, I've had to have like maybe like, I think my average touch point is like maybe like 3 to 5. And that's when that person becomes an actual client, because I've, consistently kept following up with them, so really, 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 really important. All right. So then after you've got these guys, you've talked to them on the cold call, and now it's time to actually jump into a sales meeting. So what kind of software can you use? I personally love to use Calendly. Calendly has been a really big, I've used it for pretty much everything since I started freelance brand scaling, and I use it now in my agency. I use Calendly, and then I just book them into either a Zoom meeting or a Google meeting. And you guys can start off with that. And then you guys can also build your presentations inside of Gamma AI. So I'll actually show you guys this right now. So we're here and we click on create new. We'll click on generate, and then we can just say, make me a sales presentation slideshow for a landscaping business. And you click on generate outline. I actually probably would have thrown in like for Facebook ads, right? You put in there in the prompt, and then it's going to spit you guys out an entire outline. You can either just copy and paste this and just, you can either make it yourself, or you can just click right here, select the template. You can click on generate, and then now AI is going to do its thing, make you guys a super, super simple presentation presentation that you guys can have ready. So as you guys can see here, AI is just generating this entire presentation for me. So when you guys book these people in, you have a presentation just set up ready for you. Now, I want you guys to also understand that when you guys are booking these people into these sales meetings, features like Calendly, when you make an actual meeting link, like a calendar, you're going to need to collect their name, their email, and then the phone number, right? So when you are calling these businesses and they're like, yeah, I'm interested in jumping into a meeting. Awesome. Cool. What day and time can I book you in? Suggest to them a date and time. So be like, hey, are you available on Saturday at 4 p.m.? Yeah, I am. Cool. Awesome. What's your name again? Boom. Yeah. What's a good email to reach you with? Boom. And then you already have their phone number, the one that you're cold calling, obviously, and you're good to go. But yeah, as you guys can see here, AI just finished making this presentation. It actually looks pretty good. And then obviously at the end of the presentation, you should actually make like a pricing, and you can write in here like how much you're actually going to be charging. If you're a beginner, I would be charging maybe like $500 to start. And then if you're like, you know, you've kind of built up your portfolio, jump to like 750, jump to like 1,000, 2,000, whatever it is. In my agency, I'm able to charge over $5,000 per package because we actually implement a bunch of things that is not just ads to generate leads. We also tap into the AI stuff as well. But for the sake of this video, as a beginner, you guys shouldn't be charging crazy if you have no results. So start off, like I said, with 500 to 1,000, and then you can start jumping up the ladder once you start building your portfolio and your case studies and results. When you guys are in these sales meetings with these prospects, you need to just anchor everything, right? So a bunch of objections that you guys are possibly going to receive could be a time thing. So if someone asks and say like, yeah, look, I just don't think right now is a good time, you know, you kind of, that's like a smoke screen. You want to just really outline and find exactly what their pain point is. And 9 out of 10 times it's going to be a financial issue. Now, this can be really critical if you actually close them the way you approach this. Because when you present an offer and people have the money to do it and they believe in the product, there's no reason why they're not going to sign that same day and pay you that same day. You know what I mean? So it's usually always going to be a financial thing, right? So if they decline, you know, because they can't afford it straight away, offer them a payment plan. Try to say like, hey, we can split it up, you know, if we can do 50% today. So for example, if you're charging them $1,000 a month, you can cut that down to just 500, and then they owe you another 500 in the next 30 days. And then you can have it outlined in the contract that after that period, then it's back to that $1,000 per month every 30 days. You know what I mean? Like you can try to figure out a way that can work comfortable for them. They're going to appreciate it and you get paid. And as a beginner, I mean, it's like the best thing that you could possibly do. And yeah, so that's what I would say for objections. And I mean, there's a bunch of sales videos out there, sales training. Like I said, if you guys are interested in learning from me and everything that I have to say about sales, about, you know, signing your first few clients, go down to the description of this video, click the first link. And if you guys want a free training, I also have that down below. You guys can go check that out in the description. Now, step 4, this is really simple. As a beginner, do not worry about this more than the outreaching, more than the cold calling, okay? You need to have a client first in order to be able to do this step, service delivery. So if you do not have a single client right now, just stop watching this video, okay? Go dial, go pick up the phone, right? Go start sending emails, Loom videos, cold calling, like go do these things, and then you can start worrying about service delivery. When I first started freelance brand scaling, this is the only thing that I struggled with and thought about and stressed about, but like I didn't have any clients when I first started out. You know what I mean? Like it didn't make any sense to me. And I was just sitting there, just basically just had analysis paralysis. You know what I mean? So as a beginner with 0 results, 0 case studies, 0 experience, you need to be cold calling. You need to find these actual clients. And then once you've signed them, then you can start to worry about service delivery. So now service delivery, we jump straight into this. You need to make a ads manager account. I suggest you guys use your personal Facebook account. If you don't have one, ask like a family member or a friend that has one that is preferably aged, maybe like a few years old. Basically what you got to do, it's really simple. I made a complete video on this on my channel, but just to sum it up and speed run through this, you need to jump into business.facebook.com, log into your Facebook account, and then your client is going to invite you into their business portfolio. They'll invite you in there, and then you can go about and setting them up. So I'll kind of show you guys what that looks like right now. All right, so hopefully my editor blurs out what I'm looking at right now. But this is the actual business settings of the business portfolio that your client invites you on. So how they actually do that is they click right here on the users, click on people, they'll click on invite people, simple. And then all they need to do is simply just type in your email. So your email at gmail.com or whatever it is. Click on next, assign access. Make sure that they give you full access to everything. So that way you can just, get access into their business portfolio. You'll log in and then you can kind of go about setting up the ads manager for them. Once you've done this aspect, then you need to go right here on the accounts. You'll click right here on the pages, and then you'll actually log in into the Facebook page of the business that you're running ads for, right? So just ask the business owner, like, hey, can you just log into the business Facebook page? And they'll log in there, and then click right here on assign people. You'll assign yourself to have full access, full control, and then you go right here on ad accounts, click on add, and then you make a brand new ad account, give it a name of the business, and then you assign it to yourself, full access, and then you're good to go. And then if you are running Instagram, then you click right here on Instagram accounts and you do the exact same thing like we talked about for the Facebook page, sign in, and you're good to go. So it's very, very simple. Once you have access and you're logged in, you'll be on this screen. Now, to set up your first ever leads campaign, your first ever leads gen campaign, you need to click on this green button right here, click on create. We're going to speed run through this. You click on leads, click on continue, and then you click right here on manual leads campaign. You click on continue, and then you give it a quick name. It doesn't really matter. Let's just say landscaping, wow, I can't even spell today. Landscaping, let's say broad. Cool, landscaping broad, whatever, right? We'll set right here on campaign budget because we're starting off, $20 a day is bare minimum that I would say to start off with. So keep it at 20 bucks a day. Now, the difference between the campaign budget and the ad set budget, for those who don't know how to run Facebook ads yet, and this is completely new to you guys, and it might seem like it's completely crazy. Think about it like this. You have a campaign, and then inside of the campaign, it's like a burger. You have 2 patties or multiple patties, and those are the ad sets. And every single ad set, you can have you can basically separate your ads. So maybe one ad is going to be a video ad, one is going to be an image. Maybe one ad set is kind of targeting a specific city, and another ad set is targeting another city, stuff like that. Don't worry about that right now. If you're a complete beginner and you have no idea what I'm talking about, just click on campaign budget. Start with the bare minimum of $20 per day. Scroll down a little bit, click on next. Now you're in the ad set level. You don't really need to touch anything here. We can just say free quote or whatever, just label it. And then you have right here on performance goal, maximum number of conversions. You can scroll down a little bit. Don't worry about dynamic creative yet. This is basically where you can split test different creatives, different ads to see which one performs better. And then here you can have the budget and start date schedule. So I can say I'll start off, on Sunday at 7:40 p.m. Doesn't really matter when you start off with. And then right here on the audience controls, you have the locations, right? So as you guys can see here, right now I'm currently targeting the entire country, United States. If you are working with a client that is only servicing in a specific state or city or whatever it is, you can type in here that specific place. So let's say I'm targeting only, Dallas, Texas, right? I'm going to look up Dallas, Texas right here, and it's going to say city. I click on it and boom, you guys can see that I have the blue circle. So now everybody that is inside of this blue circle is going to be targeted with my Facebook ads. Cool. You have that set up. Awesome. Click on show placements, show more. You'll click on, let's see where it is. Show more options. You'll click on, hold on, I think I lost it. All right. So usually there is a way to turn off the placement where it actually shows, I don't know why Meta's updating everything, but there's a way that you can make it so it only targets people on Facebook or Instagram. But if you're a complete beginner, don't even worry about this. You can just click on next right here, jump into the actual creative, and you can just call it whatever you want to call it. Now, this is my agency. So as you guys can see here, we kind of have some questions about agency stuff or, outreaching or whatever. But for the sake of this video, we can just call this ad, landscaping, free quote, spelled it wrong. Whoopsie daisy. And then make sure your Facebook page of the business that you're working with, it's connected here as well as the Instagram. Then you click right here on single image or video, click on that. And then you can actually click right here on forms. You create a brand new form. You can also create a Google Sheets where you can have these leads coming into a Google Sheets, or you can just simply tell your client to download the Facebook Ads Manager app and they can just click right there. They'll have a list of all of the leads that are coming in and they can just directly call them from there. It's very, very, very simple. Do not overcomplicate this. And yeah, that's pretty simple how it goes. If you want to set up right here, click on setup creative, image ad, and then you can actually add in the specific creative that you are running ads for, right? So for example, if I just search up landscaping ad, click on images, you guys can see here, there's some ads. So I click right here. So let's say, for example, that you made this creative, this ad in Canva, whatever. You just download it. You'll click right here, upload, insert it, and then boom, you have your creative and you're good to go. Then once you're done, you obviously click right here on publish, and then your ad is going to be published, and it's going to take like maybe a couple hours or so to process. And that's literally it. That is how simple it is to get your first lead gen campaign running inside of Facebook Ads Manager. So back to the doc, as we talked about, you make an instant form. Inside of the instant form, that's like your conversion location. You just ask very simple questions. You know, what are you interested in? If you're interested in a free quote, you know, for example, if you're working with car detailers, what kind of service are you looking for? Interior, exterior, both, ceramic, paint correction, whatever it is. I would say have like maybe 2 or 3 questions and then keep it very simple. And that's literally it. These leads are going to start to generate, and then your client is going to have the responsibility to actually contact these leads, book them in, qualify them. And that's pretty much it. That's all you have to do, right? So it's really simple. Make sure that you guys are also giving your clients weekly reports of how the ads are actually doing. So let them know like, hey, we're spending X amount this month. We've generated you guys this amount of leads. And you know, that's pretty much it, right? Pretty simple, right? So then the last step of this is literally just rinse and repeat. Like I said earlier, there's no way that you guys are not making at least $10,000 per month with this method. If you have 3 to 5 clients, you're easily making $5,000 to $10,000 per month. If you have over 10 clients, and you're easily making $20,000 per month. As you guys can see here, like 10 clients at $20K per month, that's literally like what, $2,000 per month per client. Let's just do some math right now. Like if you sign one client on, let's say the absolute lowest retainer of $500, and you sign, I don't know, let's say you sign 5 of these guys. Now you're making an additional $2,500. Or you can be a little bit more reasonable. Maybe you sign them on $1,000 and you say $1,000. Let's say you get 5 of these guys, $5K, right? 10 of those guys, now you're making $10K, right? So it's really important that you guys are charging a reasonable amount for you and for your client, right? You don't want to be charging, like if your clients are not making at least, let's say 3 to 4 to 5 times amount that you're charging them, they're not a client that you should be working with. So take that with a grain of salt. But yeah, it's pretty simple. And then once you keep doing this, you just keep rinsing and repeating. Like I said, after you're making $10,000 per month, you should be hiring people to kind of delegate the work for you. So what are these jobs positions? Setters, people who are going to be cold calling for you, closers, people who are going to be closing inside of the sales meetings, and then media buyers, aka the people who are running the ads for you. And that is literally it. That is the beginner's guide to lead gen freelance brand scaling. Now, if you guys want to work one-to-one with me, where I literally mentor you guys and teach you guys everything that I know, and you want to jump into one-on-one calls with me, where I literally jump into your ads manager accounts with you, I tell you exactly what buttons to click and what to do. We do some live cold calls as well, some role plays where I basically just correct you guys and give you guys all the information that you guys could possibly need, a bunch of resources and templates, 24/7 community. Then you guys can go down to the description of this video, click the first link, fill out the application form. And as always, guys, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.